Hello. So today I am going to be predicting the 2024 Republican candidates, or actually if they're going to be the candidates. So we have a very good chance that they're going to win the candidacy and win the presidency. To be up here, you also need a chance to win the actual presidency. Pretty likely you're just pretty likely to become the candidate. Possible is it can't happen. It has an okay chance of happening. It's unlikely, but it can still happen. Very low chance. It has a 5% chance of happening. Okay, with that, I'm gonna put these two as very low chance because they do not act, and I'm going to add Tom Cotton in because he's not very strong, he's not very convincing to anybody, so he's also going in the very low chance. Then we have Dan Crenshaw. I think he needs to go a step higher than very low chance, but I still do not think he is very strong in the Senate, and I do not think he has a very high chance of becoming the candidate, and I do not think he would fare well against the other candidates on the list here. Then we're gonna have Ivanka Trump. Very low chance. I'm just straight up very low chance. I do not see a lot of these people. I just do not see them being the candidate. I do not see Ivanka Trump being the next candidate. By the way, this 2021 is still very early to predict this stuff. On the 2024, this is going to happen in 3 years, so until we actually are going to see something. And so Ivanka Trump goes at the very bottom. I'm going to actually put Donald Trump Jr. as unlikely, but he still has a chance, especially if Donald Trump does not run. I think Donald Trump Jr. would run, and he does have I do not see him standing good against the others, but if things can turn his way, he can gather up around the old Trump supporters, and knowing that Trump is not here, their second best option, that they would be voting, is for him. Actually, with that said, I'm gonna put him in possible, just barely. Still, he is not going to. I personally do not think he's going to win, but the old Trump supporters, if Donald Trump. Also, that is a 50-50 chance if Donald Trump is running. I also think that if Donald Trump runs, Ivanka and Donald Trump Jr. would not be running. Actually, just for that, I'm going to put him back to unlikely, because there's a 50-50 chance that that the Trump supporters are going to gather around him. There's a 50-50 chance that Trump is going to run for president, and there's a 50-50 chance that he's actually going to win. So I'm putting him in unlikely, and most of those are like a 25 chance. But anyway, next one is Ron Johnson. He is going on unlikely. He has not been received well, and his approval rating is very low. Just for that, I do not see him being the candidate, though he can. There's still 3 years, or 2. So Yeah, there's still 3 years. We can see what he's done in the meanwhile. But I do not think that he will win. He's going in the unlikely. So far, again, he has handled COVID terribly, which put his approval rating down by a lot. And just for that, his chances of winning are very decreased. Next up, we have Larry Hogan, and I am putting him in the possibles. It is possible that he is going to win the candidacy. He's very conservative, which means that he won't be getting any of the swing states, but he does have an okay position, and he does have an okay chance. It's going in the possibles, and I can see him squaring off with the other senators. Maybe not Donald Trump, but yes, he is possibly, yes. Next, Josh Hawley is going into the possible. He, I think, has the same chance as some other senators. He has done some things which has gotten... I think Josh Hawley has a pretty good chance. He can definitely stand against the other senators and can definitely fight against him. Most importantly, he has squared off against Marco Rubio, which has a very good position, and I think that puts him in a good spot. Again, I do not think it is pretty likely that he will win, but it is definitely possible. Next, we have Rick Scott. I am, again, putting him in the possible or pretty likely category. He is the governor of Florida, which gives him a very good position. And his approval rating is pretty high. He can take back Georgia. And Rick Scott has a very good position. His approval rating is okay. I think he has a decent chance. He can also stand with the other more popular figures like Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump, Marco Rubio, and Ted Cruz, which is very good for him. I do not think it probably is pretty likely, but I'm going to keep him in the possible because there still are a number of people which have more chance of winning than he does. Next up on the list, we have Mike Pence. I think Mike Pence is pretty likely. Most of that is because he was Trump's vice president. But that does give him a good position. Being the vice president of Trump, a lot of Trump supporters would gather around him. They could also gather around Ivanka Trump and Trump Jr., but Mike Pence also can get Trump supporters and normal Republicans that do not exactly like Trump. He can get some of those as well. So I think he is pretty likely to become the next candidate for 2024. And he's definitely not going, maybe, but almost probably, let's say probably not going to win any swing states or be even close to win any swing states. if he run, he can turn states more red than they already were, states that are more conservative than progressive. But I do not think that he has a good chance of winning. He has a good chance of winning, but not against some other people. Next up, we got Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley has seen a lot of growth of popularity over the past years. And she has gotten approval ratings of many people. And I think a lot of Democrats that are usually Democratic will vote for her. And she has the support of conservatives and most likely progressives. She does not have that much of a control of progressives, but if she has conservatives and Democrats, some Democrats, because most of them will be voting for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, probably Kamala Harris. And I am putting her in the pretty likely, just because she can get supporters that are Democratic. Not all of them, not a lot of them, of course, but an okay number. And of course, she's going to get the support of conservatives because, no offense, they don't really care who, they're just going to vote Republican. Next, we have Marco Rubio. He has a very strong position in the Senate. He has a lot of popularity. And he has a pretty likely chance of winning. I am putting him in the pretty likely spot. He has seen popularity, but he's going to have high competition with the governor. He is a senator of Florida. He's also going to have the high competition with Ron DeSantis. He's the governor of Florida, and I personally think that number one, this is not me personally, he has a much higher position than Marco Rubio. And he has more popularity, and people tend to approve of him more. I think he is the first person that has a very good chance of winning. His approval rating is good. I don't know if his approval rating is good. Though the worst thing going for him, the worst thing that may drag us down is his handling of the coronavirus is not good. But besides that, I think he still has a very good chance of winning among conservatives and progressives, since he is also progressive. Now, we have James Lankford. He has been Senate for 6 years, and he's a progressive. He will definitely win the swing states, stated by Trump on an interview, said that James Lankford will win the swing state, and he is very correct. He is a progressive and may bring the almost or all the swing states, make them turn red. He has very high support. He has the second biggest approval rating throughout all the senators, and he has the highest approval rating throughout all the Republicans. And he has done a good job handling the coronavirus. Just now, he went to Texas and cut the coronavirus in Texas by half. I think this was a couple weeks ago. He has a very large support base. I think he's getting a very good chance of winning. He is up there. He's definitely getting all the congressive. I think just like Nikki Haley, he can get some Democrats. I maybe less than Nikki Haley, but still he can get some Democrats to vote for him. The other candidates here, like Rick Scott, Ted Cruz, Trump Jr., Dan Crenshaw, they cannot do. And finally, the one you've been all voting for, Donald Trump, 45th President of the U.S., that may return to be the 47th. Now, if he returns, because nobody is yet sure that he is going to be the candidate, but I feel that if he is a candidate, he has the biggest chance of winning out of everyone here. He is going in the very good chance. Out of everybody here, he has the most popularity. He has a very good chance. And he also has a pretty good chance of running in 2024. And he will definitely beat his, followers that are Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump Jr., son, and Mike Pence, because they are trying to summon the old Trump supporters, but they can if Trump is running. And I do think he has a good chance to win against James Lankford and Ron DeSantis, but I also can see the Republicans that are more toward the old Republican days and they don't like Trump, vote for another candidate like Ron DeSantis and James Lankford, which also gives them a good chance of winning. Also, not everybody here is going to run. Nobody is sure that these people are going to run. James Lankford is mostly not included. He has never stated. He has stated that he is considering running, but it is not sure. All I know is that if he runs, he's a very strong candidate, progressive, can get swing states, and he has a good chance of winning. Now, this is my list. You may have different opinions. I'm just stating mine, and this is the list. I am confident in my placements. Maybe some of them can get a little changes, but I do not think any major changes need to happen. You probably disagree with some of them. I know a lot of people will disagree on these two. But anyway, thank you for enjoying the video. Subscribe if you want to see more politics. And see you in the next video if you want to see more politics. And with that, I say goodbye. And I'll hope you join me next time, and let's talk politics.